Welcome to the Inner Space Covent Garden talk. Our talk
Thanks.
today is how to stop being affected by others. Let's face it, who isn't affected by other people's words and behaviours? But do you find yourself absorbing other people's energy, their emotions? It's not a problem if they're happy and their happiness rubs off on me and I become more cheerful. But what if it's not a positive impact? Is it possible that we get influenced by other people's opinions, that we lose our own thread of thinking? So the reality is, when we're affected by others, we're allowing others to negatively impact our mood and mindset. We don't want to avoid other people, ideally, right? But we would like to limit the impact they have on us and be able to reclaim our emotional well-being. So we've asked our speaker to share how we can build our emotional armour and resilience, protect our inner space, and stop being overly affected by others. Bill is joining us from Madrid. He is an executive coach, a facilitator in leadership development with companies such as Nestle, Mango, Telefonica, Volvo, to name but a few. Bill's going to be sharing with us for around 40 minutes. And then after that, he'll be taking your questions. In between his talk and the questions, he'll do a guided visualization meditation. And the idea is that what you've heard, you allow that to sink into your mindset, but also into your heart. So it's something you can then take forward in your life. And then he'll take your questions. So please send in your questions via the question and answer link or via the chat. And I'll be very happy to put your questions to Bill at the end. Bill, over to you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Arti. Many thanks. Can we all, first of all, good evening to everyone here. Very happy to share this interesting topic today. And could we all, I would ask you to, all of you, to share with me one moment of silence. Let's have a few moments of silence just to be present, just to be aware of here and now. Just take a moment to become aware of being present. And in this being present, just let go of any other thought of external things, of the past, of the future. Just here and now. Maybe pay attention to your breathing as a way to be present. Thanks. So it is a nice way, I think, to begin with a few moments of introspection, because I will talk about introspection to help us in this theme, in this aspect of becoming free from being affected. But as Arti was saying, that's completely normal in the introduction. That's human. And we have a heart. And so we catch influences, we have feelings. we are influenced, and finally we are affected by others. By many things we are affected, not just by others, but today I will focus more on relations. But sometimes we can be affected by the weather, by whatever. And this is why we are, the reason is that we are conscious beings, sentient beings. And nowadays, we are in the era of artificial intelligence. Just a brief comment about that, no? Because we are affected because we are human beings. There is a being. In fact, I like to say that there is a spiritual being. We are spiritual beings. But beings means that we have, as I said, we have a heart. We have a capacity to feel, to experience, absorb, sometimes vibrations and spread vibrations. We are spreading the vibrations of our feelings. For instance, if we feel peace inside, we are spreading these vibrations of peace. If we feel fear, we are spreading these vibrations, more negative, lower vibrations, fear. And so this happens to human beings. This will not happen to an artificial intelligence. Nowadays, there is this debate if the artificial intelligence can become a conscious being. And I say clearly, no, there is no being there. there is a machine, there is a software code, and it looks like someone because the artificial intelligence is trained to give very good answers, very good reasoning. But if you ask the artificial intelligence, the AI will tell you that they cannot feel like you. They cannot have feelings. They can simulate feelings. So this is why we are affected by things. And as in the introduction, Arti was saying, the problem is we are too affected. Things and relations are affecting us too much in a sense that we lose our center. We become influenced by something that does not allow us to be in our, we could say, in our power, in our right mood, in our right awareness. For instance, if we are too affected by someone, by something that has happened in our conversation, in our relation, we may enter into some type of agitation, inner agitation, peacelessness. So, in my experience, this is not good for anyone. As we were saying, we are all affected by things, but it is good today for this talk, let us reflect together on what can we do to being less affected. Ideally, not being affected in that sense that it doesn't allow you to stay in your true natural state of being, of well-being. We shouldn't lose that. Our harmony, our peace, our well-being inside. This is what we need to learn to protect. And Arti was talking about the emotional armor. Yeah, something like that. This is a good expression to express that we would need some protection from others in that sense. But it should not be a protection that disconnects us from others or creates a wall of coldness and lack of empathy, for instance. No, we have to discuss that. So let us. This is the more I was thinking in this topic, I see that it's a huge topic because there are so many things in relations that affects us. So I am going to share a few ideas, and maybe in the questions there will be time for if there are other things that I haven't I haven't talked about. One of the things is that let us reflect a little bit on the different types, the general types of things in relations that affect us. One of the things that can affect us, and we need to reflect on that, is the pain and the sorrow from others. I'm sure all of you have this experience, that sometimes you are in a conversation or you spend time with someone who is having is living now a hard time, is having a bad experience, is a person that is in pain, suffering for any reason. All of us, we have had this situation. And here, what can happen is that we can fall into the wrong type of compassion. I will explain what do I mean by that. Wrong type of compassion means kind of compassion based on certain beliefs. There are beliefs. Here happens a lot in Spain. In Spain, there are lots of Christian people, and I was studying in a Christian Catholic school, and this was very much in the culture that if you love someone, you have to feel her pain. You have to show it by suffering also with that person. So this is what I mean, the wrong type of compassion, because it's like a lack of understanding. So if I have this type of beliefs, that it's a normal thing that I love you very much and you are suffering, so out of solidarity, out of identification with you, I should suffer also. I should express my grief, my pain to you, so that you feel that I am with you. And this happens many times, and so we commit a mistake here, which is very important, because what is the right type of compassion, as I understand it? The right type of compassion is when we truly help the person that is in sorrow and in pain. So true, real compassion is where I have empathy because I understand and I catch the feelings of pain and sorrow of the person, but I still protect myself, because true help, the positive and real help that I can give is when I give from the best of myself, when I give positive energy to that person. So if a person is in sorrow and I get affected, and now I also feel that, not maybe at the same level, but I feel some pain and some sorrow, now we have a more sorrowful world. The world has become more sorrowful because there was one person before and now there are two. Maybe I will explain this to another who will be affected also. So we will be three, and we can spread this virus of pain and sorrow. And what is the use of that? We are creating a world that is more sad, more sorrowful. Plus, we are not really helping the person who is in pain. Yes, what happens is that in these dynamics, the person who is in pain normally feels certain relief to have someone to explain their pains, their misery, someone who listens to him, to her, and gives time. And yes, that's a service, but this will not really help the other person to be free from that sorrow. To really help in a compassionate way that person, I have to be in my best self so that I can provide the best vibrations. And not only that, but I can provide the best advice, because sometimes the person who explains their story, their sorrow, it is trapped in that story. So we also have to give good advice so that that person break away, move away from this loop, this story that repeats again and again. I have practical examples of this. That I know one lady, which is a very nice lady, but when I many times I have met with her, she always explains the same sorrowful story of her life, and you can listen to it once, twice, thrice, four times. But there comes a moment when you see that this is becoming a kind of addictive pattern. The person feels a victim of many circumstances, of what they have done to her, whatever, is feeding that pain, that sorrow from the past, and is explaining again and again the story to others, reinforcing that cycle, that loop. So finally, I realized that I have to be a little bit more assertive and ask certain questions. And the lady didn't like that, but what could you change? Can you stop this story? Can you create a new life right now? Can you create what I was trying is to make this person more responsible, this victim responsible. If you play the role of the victim, you will always be in your sad story, but you don't want anyone to break that pattern. And I was breaking a little bit that pattern. I was trying to make that person more responsible of her life. I was not completely successful, but I realized that true compassion is also sometimes be a mirror, and sometimes help that person to break that pattern. So this is one aspect of being affected, that we should not fall into this trap of having this solidarity, this allowing ourselves to enter into the feeling of pain and sorrow because my friend, my loved one is in that stage. No, we should keep our well-being to give the best. The other aspect, of course, which is more common, is that we are affected by criticism. We are affected by negativity of people, and that's very normal again. But here is where we need to reflect on what is the deep reason that we are so affected and so influenced by people's opinions. Because you know that small story, uh, you will always get some criticism of one type or another. It's human nature, especially in this at this time and in the world. It's very normal that we will be criticized. Like this, there is that small tale. I don't know if you have heard that there was a child and an old man and a donkey, and they were crossing different villages. And first they were walking, and the child was walking, the old man was walking, and the donkey next to them. And then the people of the village were criticizing, no, look how silly they are. They have a donkey and they don't use the donkey. So they crossed the village and they thought, okay, you child, mm, ride on the donkey. You can sit on the donkey and let's go. When they went to the next village, oh look how bad is this child. The child is over the donkey, and the poor old man walking. What kind of child is this? He has no shame. Oh, well, they crossed the village. Then they thought, okay, let's the child out of the donkey and the old man over the donkey, riding the donkey. Then they went to another village, and they said, look, this old man, he has no shame. Poor child is walking tired, and this old man on the donkey. Um, what a bad person, no? So they didn't know what to do. So they sat both on the donkey, over the donkey, no? The child and the old man, and they went to another village. Look how cruel are these two people, poor donkey. So finally they realized that the point of this story, I like very much, because it shows that sometimes it doesn't matter what you do. You're going to get criticized. There will always be someone who sees some fault, something lacking, something wrong in what you are doing. This is just to emphasize that criticism is part of life. So what is the problem? Why are we so affected by criticism? The problem is that we have a kind of tendency or pattern of what is called external validation. So we have built our self-esteem or our sense of self-worth inside on the basis of opinions of others, on the basis of their approval, their validation. So we do things to please others so that we get this input, we get this feedback, positive feedback from them. And we rely on other people to get this feeling or this sense of inner worth or inner value. So this is completely wrong, because this will makes us very weak and very it will be very likely for us to become easily affected, because also you know by your own experience that sometimes it also doesn't matter what you do, you are not going to please everyone, and even those who are pleased normally with you not always will be pleased. External validation is a trap, is a big mistake that will have this effect of, for us, that being way more affected often. And so we need to change it. We need to change it to internal validation, which is, what is this internal validation? Means that we need to, and this is my personal experience, this is what I was a person, and like many of you, I'm sure you would agree also, that we have had a lot of tendency to external validation. So I was very much like that. Many years back, I was really, my mood would change according to the criticism, the negativity. If someone would criticize me or talking me harshly, I would absorb that sorrow. I would take sorrow from that. I would be moody for some time. I was too reactive, too sensitive, really quite a disaster in that sense. When I was younger, this I mean more than 30 years ago. So I had the great fortune for me of knowing the Brahma Kumaris, studying meditation, and this is not just a practice of meditation, but as you know, this is a whole spiritual perspective on ourselves, on life. So the point I want to share with my experience is that things don't change immediately, but this is like a journey. I am not whatever I am sharing today. It's important to understand it, to catch the meaning, to see if this is practical and useful for us. But the power of these things is when we apply them, when we use them. And so, as I was saying, this is a personal journey. Each one of us has her own personal journey of moving from being affected to be free from influence, free from being affected. And that is a very pleasant journey, because if we are consistent in our meditation, our introspection, our self-discovery, if we pay attention to ourselves, I will talk a bit more later. If we pay attention of ourselves, if we give personal time, personal quality time for ourselves, we will feel improvement, we will feel progress. This is the important thing, that we see clearly in our life that we are moving forward. And basically is that we are less affected with, for instance, a person that affects us a lot. Now I am being a little bit less affected. And after some time, even less affected. So until the day that person doesn't bother me at all. Right? So this is the journey, and it's a journey that we need to undertake. But then the basis is this internal validation means that in this journey of self-discovery, I need to discover, understand, and connect with my true inner value. And this is internal validation, that I value myself for what I know about myself, for my qualities, my strong points, my strengths. Also, I am not ignorant. I know my weaknesses, but my value lies in the positive qualities and virtues that I know I have. And so I need to spend time with myself to make this discovery, because many times you find people that comes to our workshops, our activities, and we ask them, can you share 3 positive qualities? Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I have any. Really, lots of people in our modern current times, they haven't spent time. They haven't given time to this self-discovery. And we have been living carrying certain limiting beliefs and misconceptions and a very limited image of ourselves. And so this has in fact made us go towards the external validation. This has created this tendency towards external validation because we feel that if others are happy with me, if others show me appreciation, if others show me their approval, then it means I'm valuable. So such a trap, such an incredible trap. We must get rid of this trap. And the more we get rid of this trap, the less we will be affected by criticism. Because another thought that helps us is that criticism and sometimes certain negative behaviors or attitudes of people are in the present times, in the current world, are normal. It's a day-to-day thing. Lots of people are peaceless. They have stress. They have anxiety and whatnot. We have to look at the world around us, and it's not a peaceful world. We have to make it peaceful, but we will make it peaceful by starting to make peace inside ourselves. So we have to pay attention to self-care and developing our inner well-being, as I was saying. So then we will manage much better with criticism and negative feedback or whatever. Because another thing I am learning is that when you become more introspective and more having more self-respect, you have better sense of value, then you understand better other people. And you see that maybe they are saying something negative, but when you go a little bit beyond their words, you will understand and you will notice that that person is in deep sorrow. Why is so negative? It's just expressing the negativity that is inside that person. So when you realize this, I am not just being affected, I am not affected, and also I feel more compassion and I feel more empathy, and I would love that person to be more peaceful, right? So I don't need to absorb the negativity and get angry and affected by that. So this is important. Self-worth, internal validation. Remember this. The other aspect is we are also, another idea is that we are also affected when we are internally having expectations. What I mean is that things affect us more if we expect that people, our relations, should behave, should treat us in a certain way. because of these expectations, we will find that sometimes these expectations are not being met. And so we will get affected. We will be affected because our expectations haven't been met. And so this is also a subtle thing. Am I expecting, am I wanting to take or receive something from people, from my relations, from the persons with whom I relate, I communicate? Am I expecting something? Am I needing something from them? Do I want to take something from them? So this is key, because the more I want to get something, the more when I get the opposite, because normally we will want to get something nice, something that we like, their kindness, their love, or their appreciation. And sometimes we will get exactly the opposite. So if I have that expectation, that will affect me a lot more. So what means this? It means that we need a very, very valuable virtue, which is connected with this, that we all know, that we share often, but it is always good to remind us that we need internally detachment. Detachment, positive detachment. Detachment is not being cold or being distant. Detachment means the right type. I like this idea that every virtue, as I said before, compassion, there can be a right type of compassion, a wrong type of compassion. Detachment is the same. There is a right detachment and there's a wrong detachment. Wrong detachment is when I cut. I don't want to I don't want to connect with others. I want to be on my own. I am not interested in them. I am cold. I am disconnected. That's wrong. That's wrong because that's not a spiritual attitude. That's normally someone who has been affected. This is a person who has really been affected in relations, and now she or he is becoming detached because he or she doesn't have the tools to deal with relations. So he prefers to cut from relations. That is wrong, because also it will lead you to loneliness and solitude. So that's not the way of being detached in the right way. So what is right detachment? Right detachment is that I keep my feelings of love, let's say, positive feelings internally, but I myself internally, I create that, I like to this expression, this healthy distance. Healthy distance means, it simply means to understand internally that each one of us has its own inner world, has its own journey. So I accept the other person as he or she is, without expectations, and I allow that other person to feel what they are feeling. But detachment, right? Detachment means I create a distance so that I don't become infected by their negative vibrations. So I love that person. I appreciate that person. I have empathy to that person. But I create that detachment so that if that person today is moody, is angry, is in a bad mood, it's okay. That's human life. That's her journey. Today, I cannot expect from this person to be kind towards me or nice to me. I accept that this person, I don't know her story. In fact, I don't know if it happens to you. I'm not interested in listening. I just know that this person is not happy today. I don't need to know why, who made that person unhappy. I don't need the long story. Otherwise, we will go to the first point, no? The story of sorrow and pain, which sometimes are long stories. No, I, I just want to protect myself. This is maybe what Artie was saying at the beginning. The emotional armor is detachment, healthy detachment. I give space, uh, understanding and accepting that that's your reality now. You are in a bad mood. Something is hurting you. Something is happening to you inside. I deeply wish, I have good wishes for you that you overcome that, but I protect myself. I keep myself safe in what? In my inner peace, in my inner well-being. That's, I think you will agree with me. That's sacred. That's the most sacred thing for each one of us, to stay in our inner peace and harmony, because that's what's most important for us in life. Once we keep our inner space safe and in harmony, we can, as I said at the beginning, I repeat, but it's important, I can give the best of myself. Huh? And this is the game of life. We will live very meaningful and fulfilling lives if most of the time we are contributing with the best of ourselves, because that will give the best results for us and we will enjoy the scenes of life. When there is no detachment, there is attachment. And many people say to me, no, but how can you love someone and not be attached to that person? And I say, okay, I understand. This is your this is your belief system, is that if you love someone, you have to be attached to that person. But attachment has a problem, and it is that two persons that are attached are going to affect each other strongly, very strongly. If you are very attached to someone and that person is moody today, oh, why are you like this today with me? Why are you not nice with me? So I complain to that person, and I don't give that person the space to be what to feel what they need to feel, because I have a lot of attachment. And as I was saying before, expectations. I have plenty of expectations. So we need to get rid of these expectations, and we need to be more detached, right? Detached and free from their vibrations, their influence. So finally, I would say that insist in this idea of introspection, introspection and self-care. And this includes meditation, personal time to strengthen ourselves. This has been my way of safety during my journey. In the Brahma Kumaris, we teach Raj Yoga meditation, and this meditation is about connecting with our original, true spiritual qualities, connecting with our spiritual beings, our spiritual being, our spiritual self, and strengthening these qualities that are so essential, like peace, like contentment, like strength, flexibility, tolerance, these spiritual qualities that are essential for us to deal with the different situations and relations in life. And so for that, we need personal time, personal quality time. And also, it's very useful and very effective to start the day with that practice. So to have a special time for yourself. I'm not, I don't mean just to meditate, but also journaling, writing, spend time with yourself, reflecting on these things, creating in your mind, because everything starts here in your thoughts. Whatever you create in your thoughts is what sooner or later will manifest. Because at the level of spiritual development, I mean, whatever you create here, how do I want to be? Do I want to stay in my inner peace, in my inner contentment, happiness? I have to connect with that, visualize that, and commit myself to pay attention and to nurture this higher spiritual stage, because this is our safety in life, and this is really the final armor, your spiritual stage. Once we pay attention, I remember Daddy Yankee was the director of the Brahma Kumaris until 2020, when she left, exactly when the COVID started. That was very interesting. And she always, she was very powerful person. And she was always telling us, I pay 90% to my inner stage and 10% to what I have to say or to do outside. Of course, she paid attention, but 90% to have the spiritual well-being stage, because that is what protects you at each and every moment, and you will never say the wrong words, you will never have the wrong reaction. I mean, this is in this high level of spiritual stage. Of course, let us go into our practical moment, and yes, if we react, let's have kindness, let's have patience. But what I'm talking is about the aim. Where do we want to go? What is our destination? To stay in our true self-respect, in our best spiritual qualities, to stay in that experience. And so I would finish here, because the idea is to have a few moments of meditation, just to experience a little bit this, and then let's have a 2 or 3 minutes meditation, and then we can open to your questions, if there is any question. Maybe everything is very clear now. I hope. So let's take a deep breath. Let's go inside. And this meditation, I suggest you simply, from whatever you have been hearing, this idea of not being affected by others, this idea of being more detached and loving, more compassionate in the right way, this idea of being more introspective, and this idea of having more internal validation to know my true value, to base my sense of worth and value in self-knowledge and not in the opinions of others. I invite you in this meditation simply to see which of these ideas is resonating with you, and you think that it's worth to keep exploring, to keep practicing in your life, or paying attention. What do you want to focus on to move forward, to progress towards your goal? And your goal is the goal you want to set for you. How do you want to be? What do you want to become? What kind of spiritual being you want to be? What is the ideal you? How would you like to be inside? Which qualities would you like to live by? Want to be maybe more peaceful, more loving, more happy, more stable? Maybe all of them are very attractive for us. So many thanks. These were a few moments of reflection. As we say here, Om Shanti.
Thank you. There are a few questions, so let's begin with those. The first one is about neighbours. This person has an upstairs neighbour who is impacting their physical and mental health. Do you have any advice on how to move forward? Any suggestions would be appreciated, because no matter what they say to their neighbor, the neighbor doesn't respect their space.
Yeah, these are tricky situations. I know cases, I know real practical cases, and it's not easy. It's not easy. I don't know what kind of disturbance the neighbor creates, and I understand that you have been talking with the neighbor, you have been trying everything. So what are the options? Maybe you need to think, what are the options? Of course, what I've been sharing is essential, and it is strengthening yourself. Strengthen yourself, your capacity to be more detached of the neighbor and of whatever the neighbor is doing. But I know that sometimes things have limits, no? If it is not, if it is not sustainable, so then we need to see which type of help or support you need to go and talk again with that neighbor. What I mean is that it's completely normal that we need to act, we need to do things, but we also have to see if by paying more attention to our self-care, our meditation, our inner connection, and the connection with the source of power. This is what I invite you to, if you haven't, to take the Raj Yoga meditation course, because it shows us how to strengthen really our inner being. I would try for some time to be very consistent in our daily routine of becoming very stable and strong inside, and see that can help you to change the situation. Otherwise, yes, you have to see the options. I don't, I don't know to what extent you can tolerate that situation. I know cases that they were the person was renting, and the neighbors were doing the life impossible for that person, and finally that person moved to a different place because she couldn't find the solution. And so I know it can be difficult sometimes, but inner strength, inner stability, inner power, this is key for not just this situation, but each and every challenge that we face with relations. I hope this can help you a little bit.
Thank you. I'm actually grouping questions because lots have come through. So here's another one. Is it always external validation or expectations that cause us to be affected by others? Or can it also be some internal traits that might be causing one to be triggered by other people?
Yes, yes, there are, as I was saying, this is a huge topic. There are so many things that makes us being affected by others. And as we haven't paid attention to our inner strengthening, so as I was saying, in my experience, sometimes we have become oversensitive, too sensitive, and also we have a very bad habit of taking sorrow. Taking sorrow means this tendency to absorb. We absorb too much whatever others give us, no? So that's a big mistake, but it's not an easy mistake to remove. We need to undertake this journey of becoming stronger and stronger each and every day, because sometimes our inner self, our spiritual being, has become weak. That's the reality, and it's not something to feel bad about it. It's the reality. We are too affected too quickly. So I don't see any other solution that I I I need to stop and say to myself, okay, enough. I want to strengthen myself. And then make a plan, learn, practice. Here, this is what we offer in the Brahma Kumaris. We will offer you all the tools you need. You have to take the course, you have to come to our sessions. This is going to strengthen you, guaranteed. And then you will be also free from that, from being affected, from all of those things. But yes, certainly what you were sharing, it's also possible. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. The next question that's come in is about grief, when you're going through grief, and the person lost their mother, and at the time of losing their mother, their friend, their closest friend, also became distant from them and wasn't supportive or compassionate during that time, empathetic. How should she understand that and move on? Because now they barely talk, whereas before they were very, very close.
So who knows what happens inside that friend, no, that relation? Why? Because you see, sometimes you discover that maybe in these critical moments you realize that maybe they are not so close and such friends as you thought they were. Because it's true, being compassionate would be at least spend time with you and give support. But if they become distant, but at the same time, I know, because when one is having a hard time, it's difficult to see this, but maybe we can be also compassionate from this person that becomes distant, because maybe that person is not able to give support, is a person that is being affected even by the situation of others. So maybe it has, that person's also some weaknesses. The point that I want to make is that finally, we shouldn't judge anyone. We shouldn't internally in our mind to criticize their behavior, because they are affected by other things. You may be affected by a relative passing away, but they are affected by other things. And so they have their own problems to deal with. And so I don't know if you know other people that are supportive, and try to spend more time with those people, and really literally forget a little bit about this one, even if that person was very important before. Now it's different, but try to connect with other people that make you feel well. It's also, we call this concept good company. Good company means even if they haven't been friends before, but even if it is people that I know recently, people that bring positive energy to our lives. And so this, again, I encourage you to come to our centers, meditation centers, because it's not just about meditating, but you will connect with lots of positive spiritual people that can become very friendly and can give you support with their empathy, their compassion. Even if you didn't know them before, at a spiritual level, we connect very quickly with each other, and you will feel that positive energy, that positive support and help. This is what I suggest you should do, and not to think so much about this person that has his own problems.
A few people are asking about family members who are very critical and who always speak negatively about other people. How do you, or a partner in a business may be like that. How do you interact with such people?
Well, there are different types of interaction. First question is, uh, do I have to interact a lot? Because even being with the family, I can limit my time of such conversations. Or do I need to be with them a lot of time. So we need to check, can I focus my time in more positive things? And remember what I said before, good company. Can I spend more time with good company? If the atmosphere in my family is very toxic, let's imagine, no, that this is a situation. I hope it doesn't happen. But let's imagine that it's quite toxic, critical. Do I need to stay there all the time? I have to be present in those conversations all the time? Or can I take more time to connect with positive people? What I said before, good company, the company that helps you to progress. Let's see, because you have to see the situation. But again, if you have to be in that situation where people is critical and they have this negative conversation, remember, self-care, strengthening yourself, tolerance power, because the aim is it's their negativity. But I have to build this emotional, spiritual armor, not to, as I said before, not to feel distant from them. I have good wishes for them, but I don't want to be touched and infected by their negative vibrations. And the nice thing is, the more I strengthen myself spiritually, I also am sharing vibrations and really have more belief in your inner spiritual power, because the more you develop these positive vibrations, these vibrations are influencing them also. So they are calming down that negativity. But also, finally, at a practical level, sometimes we need to try to change the course of the conversation. And if they are criticizing a lot, try to move away the conversation from that direction if it is possible. Sometimes, for instance, I say to them, no, but this person also has these qualities. They don't like it because when they are criticizing, they want me to join their criticism. And if I don't do it, maybe they react a little bit, but sometimes it is healthy that they react, because what we don't want to is to nurture these negative patterns, these negative behaviors. So find ways to take fresh air, move away from that, take care of yourself. Don't allow this negative energy to control you and to infect you. That would be my advice. We have to find ways, and there will be ways. As you say in English, no? If there is a will, there is a way. You will find a way. You will find a way to protect yourself.
And this is going to be the final question. How do you deal with noise pollution?
Noise pollution.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's a very practical external thing. Noise pollution. What can we do? The only thing we can do is take physical measures if it is possible. And what can we do? If it is possible for me to move to a different place, let's do that. I don't know if there is any other intention in the question, but situations, external things, many times we don't have much control on that. So the only thing we have control is, how do I receive that? How do I perceive that? And what do I do to protect myself? That's the only thing I think we can do.
Okay, the person's clarifying. They're saying noise pollution at work, buses, neighbors, dot, dot, dot. So it's basically your environment, I'm understanding.
Yeah, but again, can you change any of that? That's part of life. So better, maybe, how you call it in English? Maybe you need to earplugs something, uh, and find ways to protect yourself. Your life is very valuable. Is the most valuable thing for you is your life, and you have to find a way to adapt yourself to that as you are moving forward, and see if you can change your situation, you can change that environment. But that's not always easy, because sometimes it's our job, it's our place. We cannot leave that, no? So we need to strengthen, again, we need to strengthen ourselves.
I'm just thinking that one of the things you talked about was healthy detachment, and maybe we can with meditation. I don't know if this is your experience, but you can almost like with meditation, your focus changes, your concentration changes, and you can choose where to put your attention. Do you find this?
Yes, completely.
Okay, well, now I have to say I'm very, very sorry. We have to say no more questions at this point. Thank you very much, Bill, for sharing with us this evening. So
My
many
pleasure.